This March 10th of 2022 Board of Education meeting is now called to order at 7:08 p.m. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with these provisions of this act, Passaic County Manchester Regional High School Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published in the North Jersey Herald News, the board's official newspaper, on January 13th of 2022. Notice of this regular meeting indicating date, time, and place were posted for public viewing and posted on all social media platforms within the MRHS community and with the clerks of the municipalities of Haledon, North Haledon, and Prospect Park. Now be it resolved that this virtual/in-person Board of Education meeting be recorded. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alagar. Mrs. Eric.
Present.
Mrs. Baez.
Here.
Mr. Barker.
Here.
Mr. D'Agostani.
Here.
Mr. Fisher.
Here.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Panzera.
Here. Thank you. Would someone like to move correspondence?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Gonzalez. Do I have a second? Mr. D'Agostani. Any questions on correspondence?
Did we receive the thank you letter? Gary from Prospect Park? Not yet? Okay.
Anything else? Okay, seeing no question.
Mrs. Nation. Mrs. Nation. That was all of my kids.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so she's still about 20-something.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry to see that.
A few more.
A few more years. I'm sorry to see that. Well, for her, she's
30
happy.
years.
Yeah, 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah, she's going. For me, 20 years.
And absolutely, like we've said last year, it's never easy to lose folks that have donated and dedicated so many years to the district, but we wish them best.
Wish them best.
Congratulate them.
And congratulate you.
And much like all our retirees, there will be a time towards the end of the year where we'll invite
Oh, thank you.
for a more formal send-off, right?
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Eric.
Yes.
Mrs. Baez.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostani.
Yes.
Mr. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Mr. Panzera.
Yes.
Motion passed.
At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Coviello to have the floor for the presentation of scholarships of marking period number 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, members of the Board of Education. Good evening, guests. Good evening, scholars. At this time, I'd like to ask the Board President and Superintendent of Schools to join me for handshaking.
Remember how to do that?
This is really exciting. This is the first time we've done it this way since before we closed back in 2020. So this is a really big moment. And just so that you know what you're going to do, scholars, when your name is called, come on up. You're going to get your award from me. Not everyone is present tonight. I will read all the names, okay? So there might be that little awkward pause in between. That's okay. We're going to clap for those folks too. When your name is called, come on up, take your award. You're going to shake the hands of the superintendent and board president, and you go back to your seats. And then once everybody has their awards called, we will then take a group picture back by the American flag right behind you. Okay? This is really exciting. These are the scholars of the marking period for marking period 2 for the 2021-2022 school year. And we're going to start off with Scholar of the Marking Period 2 for Art, Angelina Jimenez. Congratulations.
John, here's the win. Can you let the parents get a,
Oh, absolutely.
even though we're not taking a shot, let the parents get a shot? Come on, if we,
Yeah. You want to take a picture of that? Absolutely.
show your certificate.
For business education, Jalen Durant. For computer arts, Yesenia Fuentes.
Congratulations, great job.
For English, Slobodan Malenkov. Go for it, absolutely. It's a special
That's a real camera.
I'm not charging tonight. Unless you autograph. For English as a second language, Liliana Montaleza. For dramatic arts, Brandy Furman. For TV video productions, Beyonce Canela. For foreign language, Ibrahim Rajab.
Congrats. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Well,
Get used to it. That's the way that goes. Marketing education, Slobodan Malenkov. Good work.
Congrats again. Good stuff.
Start clicking.
Click, click, click,
No
click.
wonder he's sending this.
Awesome. For mathematics, Sultan Al-Haddad. For music, instrumental, Jacob Prieto. For music, vocal, Samira Alexander. For physical education and health, Abdul Razak Al-Haddad Khaled.
Good job, my friend. Good work.
Congrats, sir.
Good job.
And our second scholar for physical education and health, Leah Sherilyn Grandel. Scholar of the marking period for science, Abdul Razak Al-Haddad Khaled. For social studies, Haley Pagero. Thank you. And for general studies, Chachanta McFadden. Congratulations to all of our scholars of the marking period. If all scholars who are present could please join us right behind the dais at the American flag. We're going to take a group picture.
Take this. Are you able to snap a picture?
I got it all in.
Over here, guys?
Yeah, don't be shy.
Gotta get one. Everyone can look over here for that. 1, 2, 3. 6 feet of it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Send that to Mr. Ishak.
Take your time, enjoy. Go all night. It's the best. It's just the best, yeah.
Congratulations.
Great job, everybody.
I would just like to thank everyone for coming out. Again, there's really something special about us all coming together. It has been so long since we have been able to do this regularly. And now we had one in the first marking period and now here. This time we do have the option to see some faces fully, which has been, for me, something really, really special, just for the fact that I've only been at Manchester during the pandemic. So a lot of folks I've only seen with a mask, and this is wonderful to see the smiles as I walk down the hall and see everybody here enjoying themselves. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time to come out. There is nothing more special and more important to Manchester than celebrating our scholars. This is why we're here, and these people are really doing a fantastic job and representing Manchester in a special way. So thank you once again for coming out. Mr. Panzer?
Yeah. You don't have to stay, but you're more than welcome to. But yeah, congratulations, and it is great to see everybody with mask, without mask. In general,
Absolutely.
We're always happy to see members of the community at our board meeting. So you're always welcome here at any of our meetings. And thank you.
And if you're hungry, there's refreshments over here. Absolutely. Should we take a quick recess?
Yeah, we can take 5 minutes, and then you guys can. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, back to our regular scheduled meeting. Would someone like to move prior minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Gonzalez, so I have a second. Ms. Any questions on prior minutes? I'll take a roll call.
Mrs. Eric?
Yeah.
Mrs. Bias?
Yeah.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostani?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed.
At this time, I'll take a motion to open the floor to the public on agenda items only. So moved by Mr. Gonzalez, second. Mr. Reed, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay. Anybody in the public wishing to speak virtually, please use the raise hand feature. Do you gentlemen have anything you'd like to say? Anybody in the public?
I have not received anything at this time.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to close the floor. Motion Ms. Baez, second. Mr. D'Agostani, all in favor? Any opposed? Committee reports. I will say that the field is looking fantastic. I've seen people playing on it, and it looks great. You know, really, it's, even though it's not done, just seeing the kids out there already and they're excited about it looks fantastic. We're almost there though. So, do we have a student representative today?
Yeah, he's
she's
on.
there.
He's on.
Hey, Sipsy, you have the floor. She's unmuted.
Yeah. Maybe she didn't hear you.
Hey, Sipsy, can you hear us?
Come back.
All right, we'll come back. Mr. Labisco.
All right. You mentioned the first part. Just wanted to touch base about the field. As you can see, we've been playing with the weather here, as we knew, as we were told beforehand, it is weather specific when they can do the work. We had a good run of weather and they got a ton of it done. As you can see, there's still some white bags over there in the parking lot. That is the rest of the infill. What they've been able to get down is the majority of the sand. Then they put a layer of the traditional black infill, and then the rest of it is the cool play. So I believe the cool play is the last component that'll go in once the weather's good again. I'd imagine they can work tomorrow, but then, Saturday, some funny weather again, and then we'll get back at it next week when the weather allows, finishing up that piece. The rest of the project is the scoreboards in production. That is nearing completion. That will be all 3 of our scoreboards on campus outside will be replaced simultaneously. So that's the softball, the baseball, and the football field, all by the same company. We're really excited about that. The second piece is the lights, as you can see, are up. The trenches have been dug. The conduit has been laid. What we need is the final wiring piece done by PSE&G. And as everyone can imagine, PSE&G is quite backed up. So trying to get them in here has been a challenge. We're working on them. The good part is they have done the necessary infrastructure work to get the new electricity in. They just haven't hooked it up yet to the actual light poles and such. And so once those items are done, there's some cleanup that has to be done in the outfield there. That's all going to be done when the field is ready, or excuse me, when they're done with the infill, then they'll work on that. And before we know it, everything is going to be ready to go. And the track will be the last component. We know there's some repairs that have to be done, and then the cleaning and relining, as the board had approved last spring, as well as new runways on the interior for long jump, pole vault, and high jump. And that is really weather specific. It has to be about 50 degrees. So that usually, they say late April or early May. So we can probably say late May, it'll be 100% ready to go. And that'll be a really exciting moment. Now, you already talked about some kids playing a little soccer out there today, and that was wonderful to see. What you really feel is a buzz, between the students and the staff and parents, really excited about it in the community. I think it's the centerpiece that the board had hoped for, and it's exciting to see it coming together. So when that's finally done, I think we'll have a great reason to celebrate with the community in May once it's all finished. So that's number 1. Number 2, Mr. Reed had mentioned it. Last night was a fundraiser by Student Council in which the faculty played the Haledon Police Department. Great game, fun had by all. Unfortunately for us, fortunate for the Haledon Police, they were victorious in a close game. But it was really a blast to see everybody out there and members of the community having fun. And, we had the entire Haledon contingent there yesterday, at the game, which was great. And then some members of the Haledon Board of Education as well. So it was good to see Haledon represented there and celebrating and having fun. That was a fun game. And then 2 weeks from now is the volleyball game, right? And that's a faculty-student game, correct? So that's a fun one to come out to. I'm sorry, what's that?
And police.
And police, right?
Does board want to do it?
I just think it was unfair that the police were able to handcuff our team. That's why we lost, because we couldn't shoot.
Absolutely.
I think the board should join and play. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah,
I'll cheer.
Zarek, you down?
Yeah.
You down?
A volleyball?
How many people do we need?
Oh, you're gonna
6,
cheer about
6,
that?
right?
6.
You down? We're talking volleyball, right?
When is it?
What's the date?
23rd of it.
24th, I want to say.
I think I have it on.
Thursday. Yes, 24th.
I'm out of time.
Okay.
24.
I don't know if we can field 6 people.
You
Yes.
said May,
Oh,
right?
do
Oh, we
Is it
did.
May or
Okay.
March?
We'll go straight down after.
Oh, so we go right after the board meeting. That's all.
Everyone can come in your shorts and,
And go.
no, that's actually gonna be a marathon. We have a presentation there, 2 presentations.
All right, next time,
All right.
the board.
They got lucky.
They got lucky.
All right.
Yeah. it's just-
Next week is the
Yeah.
new iteration of the New Jersey state testing required. If you recall, last year it was pushed from the spring to the fall, and that was that Start Strong. But this is much like all the ones that we've done in the past, whether it was HESPA or all the other names they've had back in the day. I'm dating myself saying HESPA, but The NJGPA will happen Monday through Thursday next week. We're really excited to have our 11th grade have that opportunity. They haven't really been tested like previous years because of COVID, right? But we know that they're in a good place. Our staff has been getting them ready, and they'll do well, we hope, next week on that test. We have a clinic this Friday for the COVID vaccine. You know, this is our fourth time hosting, right? So we thank the board again for that support, and our community, I know, loves that and takes advantage for the folks that want to do that. Something really special happened on Tuesday here. We had a college and career fair. Over 30 colleges, university, trades, and branches of the military were present. Mr. Coviello said over 150 attendees.
That's good.
It was a electric crowd. He said people were just excited, again, being in person, but then celebrating, students' careers by, taking that next step of looking at college and looking at your future. So that was
This was
very
only open
successful.
to our students, or it was open to the public?
That's for our students.
Our students. That was good. That's good.
The mask mandate became optional, as we know, on the 7th. And, regardless of people's choices, there's been no reports of disrespectful behavior. Everyone's doing great in that transition. And, what people are feeling is that it does breathe a little bit of life. You're seeing people's faces again for the first time. And as I said, selfishly, for the first time ever, that wasn't on Zoom, right? So how long have I been sitting in meetings with masks on, or only doing it through Zoom with folks? And now, we're really having the opportunity to get together and brainstorm and do things in that, and sometimes without masks. So that's been, unique. The Ramadan lighting ceremony is happening in Haledon 2 weeks from tomorrow. So that is in your correspondence. So that, the whole Board of Education has been invited by the town of Haledon. So hopefully some folks can make that. And I believe, and last but not least, Mr. Coviello, myself, Ms. Moser, Ms. Augustin went to Haledon on Wednesday for Read Across America. Another really great event. That's something, in my past stops I've been able to do yearly, and it's always fun to see kids. But last year, coming on for the first time, I was only able to do it virtually. I videotaped myself, and they used that for the students. But here, I was in a kindergarten class, and nothing like a kindergarten class. It really is the best. And those kids are so excited. The questions they ask are second to none. I know you know, because your wife has been a kindergarten teacher, right?
Oh, yeah. They asked some great questions.
They certainly do. But their excitement's awesome. And another opportunity for us to connect with one of our sending districts. So that was we were so happy to be invited and went down. And you also spoke to kindergartners or read to kindergartens? Yeah. So great time had by all. So a lot of good things happening as things open up, and a lot of times we can connect with the community. So that's my report.
Yeah. Our student rep is back. Pat, will you let Sipsy have the floor, please?
Okay, so sorry about that, first of all. Good
Or-
evening. Good evening. Last night, Student Council hosted Manchester Madness, where MRHS faculty took on Haledon police officers in a game of basketball. Special thank you to Ms. Cullen, Mr. Marcella, Ms. Tischler, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Apriez, Mr. Crisea, Mr. Platel, Mr. Palmier, and Mr. Boyce from the Falcons Lounge for playing. Also, a special thank you to Ms. Dorn, Ms. Hughes, Ms. Orsita, and Ms. Hirschfeld for their awesome and delicious donations to our snack stand. And thank you to our SRR, Officer Zeta, and the Haledon Police Department for participating at the event. Just a heads up, PTSA will be hosting their volleyball tournament in just 2 weeks on Thursday, March 24th at 6:30 p.m. And in conclusion, we are continuing our search for sponsors for our 5th annual color run in June. Please email Mrs. Aller or Mr. Tavares if interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Sipsy. Okay. Any questions for Sipsy? Okay. Finance? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Finance. Board Secretary.
Thank you,
Ms.
Mr.
Augustin.
President.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I drew a blank there. I'm like, wait, what's her last name?
That's all right. I just have a few things to note tonight. First, I got a request from the business office ladies for us to as a board, refrain from having side conversations during the board meeting because the mic is very sensitive and it picks up everything you are saying. So, and then it's also difficult to us to kind of confirm our minutes when we have side conversations. So note, even if you're whispering or it's being recorded and we can hear everything, okay? The other announcement I have is that there's a New Jersey School Boards Workshop that's happening this fall in person, October 24th and 26th. And I have a sign-up sheet if you're interested and you know that you're attending. You can let me know tonight, but if you need some more time, just please get back to me so that we can register you guys as soon as possible. Okay, if you're planning on attending, and it is in person in Atlantic City. Okay. I also kind of wanted to note that, you know, I'm currently working on the budget, and I just wanted to note some of the towns that I've kind of witnessed not being able to pay their tax payment on time, or they just been delayed. And it's kind of been consistent, and I'm just hoping, and I am reaching out to the towns to see if we can get on time. We're not currently on time. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to the board and let you guys know what's going on. We're 2 to 3 months behind. We're, you know, we're using, you know, reserves to make through. It's not a major concern right now, but I really like to get this all up to date by the end of the school year. And I just would like to be on time. So I am doing I'm reaching out to the towns and, you know, sending reminders and sending updates, okay?
Is it all 3 times?
No, it's just 2 of the times, okay? Tonight, I just wanted to talk about the audit report. It's on the agenda for approval on 9.2 and 9.3, I believe. And I also, if you look, I passed out the audit management report. If you guys could just pull that out and kind of go along with me. The Manchester Regional School had their audit assessment for their finances for 2021. The focus of the audit is to just review the financial stability of the district, and the audit represents final numbers of expenditures and revenues from the previous school year. And it also reveals any findings or any areas of improvement, and it also lets us know how we can move forward as far as budget for the next year. Each of you guys have the audit management report, or the AMR, which I call it. If you can just pull that out and you can start at page 3 really quick, and that's where we will find the findings from the previous year. Take a moment to just look at that for a second. So the district had 3 findings this year, all in the same area and department. One of the findings basically had to do with the payroll agency not being in agreement. And the recommendation is to set up procedures to help improve the processes in order for this to be eliminated. And just for insurance, you guys know this is always already being in process. I am reviewing with the staff to make sure that any internal controls can help eliminate some of these findings. So all 3 findings are related to payroll. We are, like I said, we already have a process in place, and we're working payroll to payroll to make sure everything is in order. Do you guys have any questions on that? The good thing is that is the only area that we had to focus on. So the rest of the audit there's no other findings. And that's also always good for us to kind of pinpoint what we need to improve and kind of tackle it right away, and that's what we're doing. The second area that you can put your attention to is page 13. This is showing where we are as far as balances, expenditures, and what we can do for the next year. Okay. So if we start at the top on section 1, it tells us what our expenditures started off as. on B. Then it decreases from our pension obligations, and then it gives us an adjusted expenditure amount on B3. Of that amount or audited amount, we are able to have 4% of that towards our fund balance as unassigned. So that B3, there's 4% of that you will see in B4, which is $823,061.40. And unassigned means that we can use that percentage, that amount of money into our 2023 budget if need be. In addition,
You said 2022,
2022, 2023 budget if need be. In addition, we have an extra amount in line K, which is also part of our unassigned budget, which brings us to line N. So that is our total fund balance for 22, 23 that we can use if need be. Okay? As you go down to section 2, we see that there's a total in line C. That total represents all the reserves that we have currently. That includes capital reserve, maintenance reserve, emergency reserve, and tuition reserve. Line C1 are rollovers, POs that we have from the subsequent year that we have to use as, that's kind of like a liability. We are obligated to pay those out.
Why so many?
At the end of the year, if there's projects that are still open.
Oh, that's what it is?
We have to roll those over, and those are monies that is encumbered just for those POs that we're obligated to pay. So this is the amount of POs value as far as money that was still open as of June 2021.
As of June, okay. Some of
Yes.
these may, for June.
They may have been paid.
They may have been paid. Okay.
Yes,
By now,
yes.
Is there a time frame to have to pay that?
Well, if you have a construction project, it just depends on how long the construction project is open. I mean, we would generally want them paid by the end of the 2021 year or whatever year you're in, but construction projects are, continued. As we go down to line C3, this is the budgeted amount that we use for 21-22 budget. And as I have a note here, which this is part of what we use to do the field. So that is not money that's available right now. It's still
C3, you said?
C3, yes. Okay. And then C4 is a snapshot of the reserves that we have available. And this kind of repeats itself. This is some of the capital reserve, maintenance reserve. This is just the way they present the finances. So what this is doing is taking C, line C, where's the 4.6, and minusing out some of our obligations. And then you have at the bottom 1.3 of total fund balance that's unassigned, where we also have an excess of 215,000 that we must use. So if you flip the next page, on page 14 at the top, this represents the amount of money that we must use in our budget. The 1.1 on the other page, on page 13, is what optionally to use. But
The 113 is option, and then the other one is must.
the 215 is must, the 1.1 is optional, line M.
So we can
But,
carry that in.
right, we can, but since we've already have a trend of balancing our budget, we will need a portion of that to balance our budget going forward.
You know
Okay,
how
and
much?
we will know how much by the time.
By the time the budget
Yes,
comes.
exactly. Okay, so you guys have any questions on that?
On the audit? Just
On
on the audit or
the-
on that section?
In this section or the audit at this point, because this
Okay,
is pretty
just-
much.
Just on your comment, because it comes from the audit on the taxes. On page 103 of the CAFR, which is not that, this book, obviously. It's kind of stunning. $2.2 million that we didn't collect by June 30th.
Yes,
I mean, we never ran more than a few $100,000, and now, last year was $1 million, and now this year it was $2.2 million. That was uncollected by the end of the year. So we definitely have to get that under control.
yeah, and I'm seeing that it's a trend because even when I reach out and a payment is made, they're not even sure what payment that they're making. I have to respond and say, you actually paid this, you still owe us this.
Okay.
So you're able to sit down and go over the books with them?
We send them a breakdown of everything that was sent, but I have not been able to reach out and have it in person.
An in-person, right?
In person, just through email and on the phone at this point.
Okay.
It's happened before. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is,
The county superintendent kept aware of this, or should be kept aware of this, I think.
Sounds good.
It might be another, somebody else who can assist us in prodding. Because it's not like an option to pay,
Right.
correct.
you know, it's already been approved by them. It's an approved part, it's already part of their budget.
Mhm.
You know, I'll just leave it at that. It's not an option, it's law,
Right,
to the point where if you don't have it, towns have been told to go borrow to pay this bill. Literally.
Historically, when do they catch up, or do they ever catch up?
not what I've seen in the last year. I can go back, more, but that was the question, like,
So it rolls over into the new school year, basically.
well, when you do the audit, they make it known that this money is owed, and we're just reaching out. I mean, I've honestly never been in this situation, so I have to figure out what to do
Right.
as far as, but I'm reaching out, corresponding through email and just, what's the next steps? I'll figure that part out.
The bill collector. You had
Yeah.
$11 million that the three towns were supposed to pay us, and they were short by $2.2 million as of June 30th. That's almost 20% of the tax levy. So that's a significant hit on them. Now, to answer your question, that 2.2 million has probably been paid by now.
Right.
But in maybe August and, July and August and September, but the July and August and September payments probably weren't paid until, months down, and now we're probably looking at, it's March, and we're probably looking to collect for December. We should
Exactly.
be getting a March payment,
Exactly.
so it rolls.
Yeah.
What's kind of astounding to me is, if you look on page 103 of the capper, which is electronically on your agenda, for the past 10 years, it's ranged anywhere from 180,000 as a low. Most years it's under $1 million, but for the 3 of the past 4 years, it's been over $1 million, and this year it's over $2 million. So it's, the trend is getting worse, so we need to continue to address that.
Yes. Well, other than that, on paper, we're in good shape
Yes,
as far as fund balances and reserves. And, that's also a good, look for us so that we can use some of this information to make better decisions about what we need to do for the budget next year. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Any other questions, Ms. Augustine?
The two towns, are you getting response back, the two favorite towns?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
So they're not responding to it.
Very interesting. That just come here.
Okay, moving right along. Mr. Gonzalez, would you like to, personnel report?
We had a meeting today at 6 o'clock. We talked about people that's retirement. And, you know, the garden counselors that retire, that she's been here for 34 years. This is my opinion. That little note should have more information, like, you know, thank you to the staff, to the students. But that's my opinion. I think so. She didn't like to work here, or she didn't like the student. So she just says retired, and that's it. So I think so she should get more information. And that was it. Was an agenda today.
Thank you. Any questions?
We can mention our meeting last night. Just in general, not in specific.
Chair is good.
We don't really have a chair. I'm just saying as other personnel maybe, because it's kind of
Want to
a,
talk about it, or you want Jeff to talk about the meeting?
well, Gary can explain just that we're prepping.
Yes, we had a preparation meeting with the ad hoc committee for negotiations.
It was very,
Very productive.
very productive, yeah, thank you. Thank you, and I apologize for keeping you two, and you out so late.
It's great.
But it was a
Great
the
discussion.
presentation, the materials that were provided, and, you know, hopefully we'll have a, you know, very amicable,
Absolutely.
you know.
You must have not kept them out that long. They didn't turn into pumpkins.
And this is not baseball, so there is no such thing as a lockout. You know?
Yes. Luckily, they settled, like I said, with
Yeah.
baseball, so we'll have a full season this year.
Okay, education, Ms. Baez?
Yes, the education committee met today at 6:30, and we discussed the changes that are coming up, ESS. And we also discussed the bylaws, and we're going to continue to talk about the changes that, you know, we were presented today with the Strauss Esme Associates, how every other district has it, and we're just gonna continue to look at that.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, but I did offer to Bridget, and we can get it for you. School board's policy service probably also can get us a sample. The school, the NJSBA has their own policy that's essentially, they do the same thing as Strauss Esme, but we can get sample policies from them, so we can get a bylaw from them, so you can kind of put them side by side with Strauss Esme and come up with something that works best for us.
Any other questions? Mr. Barker, finance?
The finance committee did meet this evening. We discussed agenda items, specifically we went over the audit. So August will review the audit with us as a committee. Unfortunately, whenever you have findings, you know, that's always an eye opener, but I think as we left the meeting, we're very confident that through Ms. Augustine's leadership, I think everything's in place to, you know, get things back on track.
Thank you. Community engagement, Ms. Eric.
Community engagement, met, was that Monday or Tuesday? This week.
Yeah, we met Monday.
Yeah, we met this week, myself as a chair and president and also the superintendent to kind of lock down our goals for the culture and climate and engagement strategic plan, and also we outlined the committee responsibilities and what will include. It seems as though we have a very rigorous or a very good encompass of trying to get the community and the school to connect. A good plan to do that.
Thank you. State and county?
Can I proceed?
Yeah, go for it.
County, March the 14th with the leadership workshop that's coming up. All are able to attend, and I guess it's highlighting vice president and presidents, right?
That was
Yeah,
the plan.
highlighting vice
You've been
president.
emailed, you've been
president.
contacted yet, or?
I didn't even-
No, okay,
Yeah,
you
it's
probably
highlighting vice presidents and vice presidents, but it's virtual, so all invited to attend, and the upcoming workshops, I think it was April 26th, supposedly, that's coming up too. I saw it advertising. I'll get you these dates.
The spring symposium?
The spring
spring
symposium is April
Is
26th.
it April or May?
It's April,
It's April.
April 26th, the spring symposium.
And that's still virtual, but the October is live.
It's live.
Perfect, thank you. Jeff?
Steve?
No, just the workshop is the exciting news that it's back live, and hopefully
Yes,
as
it
many
will.
people as possible can attend. Especially those that are working, can work it around and schedule. It's in this,
Beautiful.
it's been there. It's an
Yes.
incredible
Tremendous.
experience. There is nothing like it, short of the in-person, for a new board member orientation, which is also, which I think you attended, which is also.
Are they gonna
you
have
come
that
right
this
up.
year? The new board?
I think they're still, because of the lateness of the breaking of this, still doing that virtually.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But Atlantic City, there'll be like, the entire, if you've ever been to Atlantic City Convention Hall, the entire convention hall floor, every type of equipment, service, vendor
Vendors, yeah.
that we use, is available in there. And 5 or 10 of each, attorneys and architects and lawnmowers and school buses and everything from pencils to software, and hardware and everything in between. But it's also, there's like 200 sessions that'll go on during the day. Training sessions on every topic, negotiations training, finance, understanding an audit, CTE programs, just, the whole, everything that we get involved in. And you get to pick and choose. Sometimes that's the big problem, because there's 3 or 4 things at the same time, and you may want to go to 2. Luckily, they get repeated. And now, the other new thing is, like the virtual workshops that we've had, where everything was recorded and you could go back and watch it, even the live sessions are going to be recorded. So that if you're there and at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, there was 2 different things that you wanted to go to and you had to pick, you now can, that night in your hotel room, or when you get home the next week, you can watch it online. So it's good. And it's just, but I think, as you guys noted tonight, just with this, being able to see people and whatever,
Makes all the difference.
the interaction between board members, not just us, but with other boards, is one of the biggest training parts of it, and you guys would enjoy it. So hopefully you can work out your schedule, even if you can't make all 3 days. You can go down, the board pays for the hotel and you get mileage, but you go down there and spend 24, 36, 48 hours. You'll enjoy it, and it's the best way to become a good board member. It's the best way to really contribute to the board. So I would encourage everybody to, especially you. I've been trying to get you to go.
Not yet.
Well, stop having kids and then you can.
This year I will be.
Question.
Yeah.
If we go like a Monday, Tuesday,
Right.
work on Wednesday, can we come back Tuesday night? We went to 10 off the week.
No.
No,
Oh,
you
no,
can go
no, no,
back.
no.
You can
This
come
isn't
back.
like the new board member orientation. They really want you there from Friday night through Sunday in order to get the complete picture. But no, you can go, I have people that just drive down for the day, and they'll do like a Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this year?
It's
or-
Monday,
Monday, Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, okay. Yeah, but it's probably Monday afternoon, and then Tuesday and Wednesday will be the busiest days. If you can get there, get down Monday night, go Tuesday, and, if you want to drive home, you just take it one day, you could do that. So no, you don't have to. And you'll get an email in a couple of weeks. You'll be able to see all through the summer, and you can plan it out as to what programs or what days, and kind of plan what's the best time for you to go. What interests you, and go right to it.
Plus the floor, like you mentioned.
The floor is incredible. I think there's going to be a lot more esports in person this year as opposed to just the virtual. steam tank, okay, which, I don't know if are we doing any, do we have any steam tank? Anybody that's participated in steam tank?
Not at the
Run by the Army, okay? They run a competition where it's like Shark Tank, where you go in and you pitch to a panel on a proposal, only it's from STEM, it's, science, technology, engineering and that. And I've been there, I saw a bunch of fifth graders come in, a team of 3 kids, and the kid was a violin player. And he said, so what we're gonna do is, on my tablet, as I play the violin, you don't have to stand there and turn the page. The music, as you play, the program will turn the page on your music board. And that was their team plan, and they were selling it. That may exist already, I don't know. But it's everything from that right up to, how to solve major global environmental issues or whatever. Kind of like trying to go to a Shark Tank on TV and sell it. And the kids make their pitch and they have to present it, and they start, I don't know, we started 4 years ago with like 30 participants. I think last year there were 900. And they start with regional competitions, and I'm sure Ms. Zala knows about this, and we should encourage the kids to get involved in it. But regional competitions, but then the finalists are in Atlantic City. And it's the entire thing is run by the U.S. Army, which is a partner of NJSBA. There's actually the Army provides staff to NJSBA year-round, and they run this. And you go there into that section, it's the far end of the convention floor, and all day long. Okay, Manchester, you're up at 10 o'clock, and you go in and you make your presentation to this panel. And they grade you and score you and whatever, and there's winners. There's never any losers, but there's winners. And it's great. It's a great thing.
Cool.
From that, the music programs, there's a lot of kids' music programs that are there, choral programs, just all through the day. And I've been doing it for a few years, so.
Just a few.
I think this is number 49.
Got it.
No, I missed one. 48. But it's, I would encourage everybody to go. And
Can we
just
see this calendar, like right now, if I were to look like what's going on throughout the day?
No, it usually comes up in April for the October conference,
All right.
because they're still actually encouraging people to put in a program. Because everybody, when you go to these programs, they're all people that are working in the business. They're superintendents, they're VAs, they're architects, they're engineers, who are, running a program. We may go, well, we did go. Held in Manchester went a few years ago, and we pitched shared services. Okay, sharing a superintendent, a VA, and whatever. And we had about 100 people in a room, and the board attorney and the superintendent and the VA, they go to presentations, and we had about 100 people there that just asked questions about, really, you could do that? How do you do that? And so on and so forth. So they're still accepting proposals for people that want to make be part of the program. But usually around April and May, it'll come out, and then you can look at what's on each day for a program.
You're doing a class on how to be a board member for 49 years? Or something like that?
No, they said I could only do it for 40. Trust me, I've taught more. I actually, the last time I got reelected and I had to go to governance for the retraining, I said, if I teach the class, can I get credit for taking the class? Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Personnel, Mr. Gonzalez, would you like to move it?
I move 7-1 through 7-12.
Do we have a second? Mr. Barca, any questions? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call, please.
Mrs. Eric?
Yes.
Mrs. Baez?
Yes.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostani?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Panzera.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Education, Ms. Baez, would you like to move it?
Yes, I'll move 8.1 to 8.3.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gonzalez, any questions? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call.
Mrs. Eric,
Yes.
Mrs. Baez,
Yes.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostani,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Panzera.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Mr. Barker, would you like to move finance?
I'd like to move 9.1 to 9.14.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Mr. Fisher, any questions? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call, please.
Mrs. Eric,
Abstain on 9.5, specifically PO 200245, yes. And
Mrs. Baez,
Yes, I'll abstain from 9.7.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostani,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Panzera.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. All the new business, anybody have anything?
Yes, and old business, I'd like to thank Manchester Regional High School for participating in our Black History Month celebration. Through the efforts of the school, our teacher, Mrs. B, thank you, Mrs. B. They actually displayed their artwork for Black History Month. The attendees were very impressed with Manchester students. Their ability to depict what they felt or what they learned during Black history, they were very impressed. They partnered with Prospect Park School Number 1, so their art was actually displayed in also Manchester. So it was a great collaboration with what we say about the community coming together and actually highlighting our kids in education. Okay, so thank you.
And thank you for facilitating that.
That's great. I saw pictures, your husband, congratulations, he got an award, right?
Yeah, my husband actually
Right.
saved someone's life, so they recognized it.
That was great. I guess I've been under older new business. I think Mika had said, Ms. Augustin said that our staff has issued, has problems when we have side conversations and things like that on the dais, and really we shouldn't, but, do we still have to have them transcribe the minutes? Do you think we can maybe move away from that since we are being recorded now? Can we just store the recording so they don't have to?
No,
Well, they're not transcribing. They're just, they're, like, if you read the minutes, there may be a line. When I was reviewing the minutes, I think there was something that I said that there was a line.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not word for
But it's
word.
like,
But we still have to have it.
where they're getting it is like, can they, like, if they didn't catch a second, or there was a question on a second, or this, that, or the other. But also, even just if somebody's talking, making a report, and we're whispering, it's overshadowing that, and it's on the recording.
Right. No, I understand that. I was just.
It's as much the
I know,
recording
like-
as it is the minutes that, they're suggesting, and I'm one of the worst offenders, so I, acknowledge that.
I was just wondering if we had to have them actually, like,
Well, the minutes?
the minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have that, no matter what.
There is still a minute book.
Yeah, and the question, when are we gonna get the road, I ask this every time we come in, the pothole that gives me the most.
Oh, man, I hit
Problem.
that thing the other day.
It really irritates me when I come up in here, and I like, you look and you say, when you're so excited coming in, you look at that beautiful field, and then you're dodging potholes, so when
So
are we?
we've been obviously on that since January, but the problem is if we were to put it down, these storms just keep coming.
Just coming.
And they would have popped up all those things. So we do have a plan to get them done. It's been,
Before
we've
the
been waiting.
ribbon cutting,
Oh, yeah.
that's because that'd be
I mean,
kind of.
We were gonna do it 2 weeks ago, but then that storm came. And then we were gonna do it this week, but then we just got the storm watch for the Saturday, so we keep delaying it.
Maybe we can put a cone on that one. Because I hit that
no,
one
it doesn't.
going home the other day.
And, you know,
Boom! I was like, whoa!
and the worst time is like with the rain and the slush, because you don't see
You
it.
don't see it,
Because
yeah.
it's just kind of, especially when you're leaving here from a meeting.
That's a manhole, it's not even a pothole,
It
it's a
is.
Is it
manhole.
possible to put speed bumps along the entrance that, what's it called? I guess the driveway?
Absolutely.
Because kids race up and down.
Falcon Drive.
Very good, Falcon Drive, yeah. It's very dangerous, something to think about.
Sure.
We did have a kid go in the brook
Very dangerous.
at one
You
point,
know, we,
on the curve.
They raced through, Prospect Park coming up right into the school too. Yeah, they raced it.
I catch them, but you can't do nothing.
You can't, they're kids.
And then you get the people coming either in Brown and making the left and not, you know, or coming up and making the right to cut through and
How dare
avoid
they do that?
going through that downhill to that.
Yeah.
I, at least when I do that, I pull into the junior lot and like fake making a U-turn.
You're being recorded.
In front of police officers.
I don't do what?
That's still illegal.
He forgot something at home.
There you go.
All right, anything else under, old or new business? Yep. Nothing under executive session, so I will take a motion to adjourn.
Nope. A hearing.
Oh, I always forget that,
Yes.
What? Oh, yeah.
sorry. I'll take a motion to open the floor to the public. This is like
Second.
Who motioned it? Mr. D'Agostani, second by Ms. Baez. All in favor? Anybody opposed?
Good catch.
None? Okay. Pat, anybody left in the audience?
I haven't received anything at this time.
Okay. Anybody wishing to speak, please use the raise hand feature. You gentlemen? Okay, motion to close the floor. Mr. Gonzalez, second. Mr. D'Agostani, and I'll take a motion to adjourn. Adjourned by Ms. Baez, second. Mr. Fisher, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 8:17.